Hey everyone, welcome to the Better Together podcast. I'm so excited for this next podcast. We get to kind of bring in some creativity from a world that I am very much not familiar with. If you saw me on a dance floor, I would probably go viral and you'd find it ridiculous. But we have a professional dancer here, and on top of professional dancing, Christy Hernandez is the founder and executive director of Dance for Joy Ministries in Orange County, California. I'm going to let her share a little bit about what that is about, but hopefully, what we get to do in this conversation is draw out some principles about working together, connection, collaboration, and unity. And from what I've seen, even though I'm not a good dancer, it seems like when people are dancing, they're extremely united, and it's really, really beautiful. So that's a really interesting concept that we're going to explore. But before we do that, go ahead and share a little bit about what you do, how you got to where you are, and what you love about dancing and unity and collaboration.
Yeah, thanks, Kaiten. Super excited to be here. I started out as a dancer when I was 3 years old. Mom took
Wow.
me to dance class and I just never stopped. So became a professional dancer in my 20s, studying dance in college and all of those good things. Gave my life to the Lord in my mid 20s.
Wow.
So that really changed the trajectory of, how I thought about dance,
Hmm.
because I wanted to glorify God and use my dancing in a way that would honor God and this faith and His love that He
Yeah.
gave to me. So after I got married and had my children, I felt this tug on my heart, especially through being a mom.
Hmm.
Wanting an experience for my kids, to experience the joy of faith and an arts experience at the
Hmm.
same time so that there wouldn't be a conflict between those two.
Hmm. Have you felt like there's been conflict in the past with other experiences like that people have had between faith and an art experience?
I do. I do. I think a lot of times that people who are people of faith, especially in the Christian world, maybe, who want to be disciples of Christ, right? They want to follow the way of Christ. They want to do that in a way that's honoring their body, right? So um, I use very simply, a lot of the scriptures that say, you know, um, offer yourself as a holy and living sacrifice to the Lord,
Hmm.
right? So whatever you do, do it as unto the Lord,
Hmm.
right? Those are some principles that we believe. And so if I'm moving my body in a way that I feel is just not connecting with that,
Hmm.
then I think that there's a part of me that isn't acting integrous.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's a goal for all of us, right? We want to be authentic.
Hmm.
We want to live from the principles and the values that we believe in
Yeah.
and that bring us joy
Yeah.
and bring us connection and belonging to other people. I think that's one of the ways, right, where this talk about unity, right? So if I am wanting to proclaim joy, but I'm doing a dance that doesn't do that,
Hmm.
then there's a break there,
Yeah, totally.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful way of explaining that, especially when it comes to dancers, because it's not about like a rule of like you can't do this move, you can't do that move, but it's more about like how am I expressing the values and beliefs that I say that I carry, and am I being authentic to those values and beliefs? So that's a really beautiful
I'm really
way.
glad you brought that up
Yeah.
because, again, from this worldview of believing there's a creator of all things and that he made all things good, right? Well, that means then every part of dance
Mm-hmm.
is good
Hmm.
and can reflect God, right?
Yeah.
So whether you're doing ballet or jazz or tap or hip hop or a folk dance from a specific culture like ballet folklorico from Mexico or um, flamenco from Spain, wow, like everything
Mm.
can be used to uh, to facilitate the connection and the core value of who you are as a person.
Mm.
And that's really exciting.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. So how did you go from having a family to then now connecting with hundreds of kids who are dancing. They're not just your kids anymore. It's a bunch of families now. How
Right.
did that all happen and how did Dance for Joy start?
Yeah. So I was in a Bible study and started to get visions of dancing for God's glory.
Mm,
I felt like that was kind of an answer to a lot of prayers over the years of what am I called to do with my dancing? And so uh, again, through prayer, I felt like joy was going to be the centerpiece. So that's why the title Dance for Joy Ministries. We just started with some classes in my home in
mm,
2007. Um, with literally, I handed out flyers in the neighborhood and said, "Do you want to come and dance? I'm going to be, it's going to be centered on Jesus and
mm.
it's going to be fun and joyful." And so we did that. And over the last 19 years,
Wow.
it's grown. So in the first 10 years, it grew to be about 4 or 5 days a week in my home.
Wow.
that, that
You were in your home for 10 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went from being just me as the teacher to me inviting in some other instructors in other dance genres to giving summer camps and workshops and
Mhm,
going and being part of conferences and starting to give concerts.
mhm,
And we have a real heart for just sharing the art of dance, especially in community events and with the elderly. We love to go to elderly facilities
mhm.
and share that joy
So cool.
and invite them to dance with us. Very communal. After 10 years of that, I think my husband and I said, wow, this is getting too big for our house.
Mm.
So we moved the studio out into kind of a proper dance studio space.
Okay.
And that was in Costa Mesa.
Hmm.
And we've been continuing to grow ever since. We also became a nonprofit organization in 2017.
Okay.
And then fast forward to today, we have several locations where we train. We give over 40 classes a week. We
Wow.
have some satellite classes at churches or after school programs.
Wow.
And we serve about 150 to 200 youth a week. And when I say youth, we serve ages 3 all the way to senior citizens.
Wow. That is really beautiful. So you're actually like connecting all ages, demographics, even probably cultures, ethnicities, income levels as well, all around this whole concept of dance, which is really, really cool. So I want to hear more about that. Like, I know you've expressed a little bit of your heart to make sure that every part of the community member is included. Like you said, you're going to elderly homes and sharing as well. How does that value, um, how is that value expressed through the way that you're doing your classes or even the way that you relate to families or the people that you're, kind of trying to mentor in your dancing?
Yeah. I would say one thing is I believe that all people are movers, so all people are dancers.
Mm,
And inviting people to move with joy is a core value. So everywhere we go, we'll bring things like banners or tambourines or shakers or anything that people can put in their hand and then move
mm,
and then discover, oh, I'm moving.
yeah.
You could be sitting, you could be standing, right? So everybody's involved. And that's, again, a core way of training,
Hmm.
right? So the young people are always seeing, oh, of course, everybody's going to dance,
Yeah.
right? So we're all able to do this.
Mm,
That's the first thing.
so cool.
Um, Tell me again your question. I'm kind of,
No, yeah, you're fine. So I'm noticing it's not just about you getting students that are from different places. It's also about making it accessible to every type of person in your community. So the question was like, how are you expressing that in the way that you're mentoring the students and
mm,
the types of people that you're bringing into classes and all of that?
right. Another thing that I wanted to highlight when you asked was we have a D4J ambassador program, which is a leadership program where they start by simply assisting dance classes.
Okay.
They're growing to learn how to be with others and start to demonstrate,
Mm,
start to help others
mm,
learn and grow. That creates a certain amount of unity,
mm,
inviting others to learn alongside you and taking a step of leadership to help someone else.
mm,
I would say that the same thing happens then when the dancers go out into the community. they're taking on a responsibility and an ownership of leading others into an experience of joy. And it's a connection. So anytime you're with another person and you're expressing yourself
Mm-hmm.
or an idea, right? You're connecting with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're learning that unity of connecting with other people,
Mm-hmm.
whoever's in front of them. Another thing is that within the classroom itself and with their teachers, we're all professional dancers
Mm-hmm.
that are instructing. And so our goal to encourage and challenge ourselves to learn at our highest level and potential creates that unity with the teacher, the other students. We challenge each other, we uplift each other, we encourage each other. That's a space of unity.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we are showing that excellence, so dancers coming to an if they're able to, right, become an advanced level dancer.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about that is it opens up doors and pathways into the entire arts culture, right? Because everyone's going to take notice of something that's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always said that to our dancers. If you are being excellent, striving to the best of the capacity that God's given you
Mm-hmm.
and allowing God to move in you, people will notice and that will open up connections.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way of
Wow.
cultivating unity.
Wow, that's really beautiful. What's been the hardest part of running all of this? Because you said you were in your home for 10 years, which probably at some point brought some challenges. And then now you're running, like you said, 40 dance classes and you have staff and maybe even like you do volunteers as well, people that help out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have different volunteers, whether they're volunteering in, greeting, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
set up and take down for events, helping to our board of directors, right?
Mm-hmm.
A board of directors is currently leadership that are volunteers.
Yeah.
Um, but the question was,
Yeah, what's been the hardest?
oh, what's been the hardest? Oh my goodness. Ah, I would say change,
Mm-hmm.
navigating change, a changing world,
Mm-hmm.
changing circumstances. Um, it's an opportunity to give over and trust. It's an opportunity, again, for unity. So, collaboration, hearing the voices of the leadership, hearing the needs of communities, and then collaborating together to provide the very best services that we can and the service that is actually needed and wanted. Um, there's a million ways you could dance, but what's most important for the child and the children that's in the room?
Mm-hmm.
And what do they need today?
Yeah.
Um, and making sure that we're doing that in a beautiful way. And that's a wide variety for Dance for Joy. Again, we have dancers that come and train 5 days a week, and they're very advanced levels, and they're maybe looking at professional careers, all the way through a recreational dancer that it's part of their school. They maybe didn't even sign up for the class, right? And how do we meet them where they're at and
Okay.
make this a joyful experience for them?
Okay.
To getting out in the community, and a person didn't even know that I was going to invite them
Mm.
and put a tambourine in their hand, right?
Yeah.
So, but challenges would be changing circumstances
Mm.
and navigating that with joy and beauty
Mhm.
and grace.
When you were in your home, were you doing dance classes like in a garage or in like a living room? How did that look?
Yeah. We had two living room spaces in
Okay.
our home.
Okay.
So it was in one of the living room spaces.
Okay.
And my husband built out the dance studio for us. So mirrors, floors, bar.
Oh, he made it like a full-on
Oh,
studio
yeah.
in the house.
Yes.
Whoa, that's really cool. Do you have any pictures of that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you'll have to send me those later. That'd be
Okay.
really cool. I can put them up like on the screen so people can see that.
Okay, cool.
Um, okay, so your husband built it all for you. So it
Mhm.
sounds like he's super supportive of what you're doing, even to the point where he will redo the house to make it work for you. How's that been for you? Like, it seems like you mentioned before we started the podcast, he's also helped build some stuff as well.
Yeah.
Tell me about that whole thing because he's a carpenter, you're a dancer, yet
Mm.
somehow you guys are working together on all this.
Well, amazingly enough, he was a professional dancer as well.
Wow, that's cool.
That's how we met.
That's very
So
cool.
we were at a choreographer showcase
Okay.
back in the day. And so he was a professional modern dancer, a professional tap dancer.
Wow.
And yeah, it's uh, it's been really cool. We have very similar cultural family backgrounds. So we
Okay.
both come from Italian, Hispanic,
Okay.
Mexican heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And those cultures celebrate life through dance
Yeah.
very much, and through music,
Mm-hmm.
and through family, and through gatherings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, because we had very similar upbringings, and our families both loved the arts as well,
Mm.
and then we were both professional dancers, he knew the life of an artist.
Mm. Okay.
And from the very beginning, he said, I'm, going to support your life as an artist.
Yeah.
So that has been super key. And the vocation of marriage, right? Which is a giving, full giving of yourself to
Mm.
the other person to serve the other person.
Yeah.
He lives that out.
Wow. It's really
Yeah,
cool. What's his
it's
name?
Tony.
Good job, Tony.
Yeah.
If you're seeing this, amazing. That is really, really beautiful. That's really inspiring and encouraging. I think that my wife and I do a good job at that, but I think we're still always learning how to do that as well. So it's really,
Yeah.
really cool to see you've been in your dance for Joy Ministries journey for you said 19 years?
19
19
years.
years now, and he's still like side by side
Yeah.
helping you and supporting you, which is amazing.
It is amazing. And
That's beautiful.
it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think we don't want to, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of sacrifice, but really that's what love is.
Mm-hmm.
And when we dive into that and we give ourselves to that, that's where we find beauty and that's
Mm-hmm.
where we find joy and that's where we find renewal. Things don't get old
Mm-hmm.
because actually the challenges are gifts. They're pulling us into a space of a new collaboration, a new way of finding unity, a new way of sharing.
Mm,
And we don't want to shy away from that. We want to lean into it.
that's cool. So you feel like what I'm hearing you say is you guys have chosen to lean into the challenges and that's created a lot of unity in your marriage. Is that accurate? That's
Absolutely.
really cool. So I'm just kind of picturing the studio in a living room. There's two living rooms, but people are coming in to dance probably after school at some point, right?
Yep.
And at some point that butts up against dinner time,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So what was that like for your family, like experiencing a whole dance studio happening while they're like living in that same place?
That is so fun. So, again, just in regards to the norm, my parents were both music teachers,
Okay.
and my parents both taught music lessons in our home
Oh, cool.
every
Okay.
day after school.
Wow.
So, see, this was normal to me.
Yeah.
And my mom would be teaching piano lessons, and then she'd go to the kitchen and she'd stir the pasta and she'd say, remember, it's a C sharp, not C flat,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And this was normal to me. So I would do the same thing.
Hmm.
I'm in the studio and I'm making something, and then, if, Tony needs to make dinner, he's cooking dinner and people are walking through and saying hello. We used to
Cool.
really joke about Saturday morning classes that we should be serving a full breakfast, pancakes and bacon.
Yeah.
Um, we, it's real life. It's a blessing. We'd have children and they're kids. I mean, what would they say to me? Miss Christie, do you have snacks?
Mm.
Well, of course. So I go to the pantry,
Yeah.
I get out a bowl, I put some chips in a bowl, and I sit them down at the dining table and I continue with class.
Mm. Yeah.
You
Wow.
know? Um,
So there was no separation between your life and the studio in like a good way
right.
because you're almost like kind of like when I think about Jesus. his ministry was like incarnate, like he was in the place that he was loving. He wasn't like detached from it. And I
Yeah.
think you've gotten to the point of where it's actually in your living room and the items in your pantry from your grocery list and your grocery budget are now being used up by people that are getting into your living room. So that is a really beautiful way of doing that. It's amazing.
Well, what's cool is too, my husband and I both believed that this was a beautiful environment for our children to be in,
Hmm.
that we wanted to be the house on the block where everybody came and the friends would hang out in the other living room before class. Then they'd all go to dance class. And then they'd hang out afterwards until their parents came and picked them up,
Yeah.
right? Or if we were homeschool families, right? The parents would be right there at the dining room table, homeschooling the rest of the siblings while oldest sibling took dance
Hmm.
class or vice versa,
Okay.
right? So it was this whole space that we felt, oh, this is wonderful for our kids to
Yeah.
experience this. And um, all the kids going into the refrigerator,
Hmm.
to get snacks together with our own kids,
Yeah.
right? I
That's
mean,
really cool.
that's just normal. It's just that dance classes were going on at the same time
Hmm.
and we're creating art, but we're both artists.
Yeah.
So again, that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal for you. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where it was like tiring or exhausting to have that all happen? Yeah,
Well, absolutely. Because the reality is, then you've got to make sure your house is presentable and ready
all the
every
time.
time that people come,
Yeah.
right? And then there's a giving over because everything's going to become a mess immediately. It's just like having a party, right? So everybody's bags. My husband would say, he'd always say the story about how he's walking over kids' dance bags,
Mm-hmm.
as he gets home from work. And then when you leave, things are dirtier than when you started. It's just like having a party,
Yeah.
right?
Every
And
day.
so, but again, to me, it gave me a reason. Oh, this is a great reason to clean the house,
Mm.
you know. Um, yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Earlier you said something about how there are students that are coming to your dance studio because they're enrolled in it through school, right? Something like that.
Like through an after school program.
Okay. And you said some of them don't actually want to be there sometimes. How do you deal with that student who
Mhm.
doesn't want to be a part
Mhm.
of what's going on in the room? And like, what does that journey look like? Because I can imagine you probably like, gained some experience and wisdom over the years that it doesn't just happen in the first 10 minutes of a class.
Right.
There's probably a spectrum of, how quickly students start to get comfortable. But what has that
Sure.
been like for you?
Um, I'm blessed that I have a degree in education.
Okay.
So, educational tools and using those frameworks as a teacher is really important. Um, I would say the first thing that's, again, is the structure of the classroom. So, children are used to being in structured classrooms. So, if you have great classroom rules that are manageable for the age and you're structuring your lesson to the age group,
Mm-hmm.
most kids are going to fall in line with it
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they do. They go to classes and they learn things.
Yeah.
For the kids that it just doesn't resonate with them, right? Let's say, again, I'll use a typical kind of scenario. This is a young boy. He loves soccer, right? So going to a dance class might not be where he's interested in
Mm-hmm.
being. I, I'm going to take some time, first of all, to just let them be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to expect them to do everything. But if they're following the classroom rules and behavior, if for some reason the behavior is not there, then I'm going to ask the group that I'm associated with, whether it's my own assistant or it's the learning center that I'm with,
Mm-hmm.
right, or the school. I'm going to ask them to provide some support, right, for that student. What's going on with them? Find a little bit more about them. Find ways to connect. Find out what's interesting to them. See how many ways can I link the art of dance and what we're doing in the classroom to actually what's interesting to them.
That's really cool.
So for soccer, right? I've had plenty of soccer discussions in
Mm-hmm.
classes about ease, facility of movement, moving quickly, balance, stamina, right? Strength, and how what we're doing in our class right now is going to make you a better soccer player.
Mm, that's really cool. Yeah,
So
so that's interesting because in the work that I'm in that you know about, what we sometimes try to do wrong is that we try to get people to be a part of something that we believe the entire community cares about. But instead, I think the approach that we're learning that works a little bit better is exactly what you said. Like, let's find out what that person's interested in and how we can tap into their interests. And in them fully living out their own interests, it's actually benefiting the entire community versus us like trying to put them into a box of like, here's how you should serve your community. Like, here's how you should be united versus them saying, this is who I am. Now let's help you draw that out and it'll actually benefit the rest of the group.
big time. When I'm hearing you say that, it's reminding me so much that I've learned to, and I hope I continue to develop, and I've learned this so much from my colleagues that are such great teachers, is to remember a few things. One of them is that, right, we want to celebrate what they love, and we want them to be fully engaged in that.
Hmm.
And so when I'm with them in a class, that's what I'm thinking about.
Hmm.
And it's not ever about the product or what they're doing right in that moment. It's about what experience are they having right now that's going to make them feel more encouraged as a human being to be bold, to be courageous, to take risks, to believe in themselves.
Hmm.
Because if they're growing in those ways, then when they get into that space where they're so comfortable and they love it so much,
Hmm.
well, now they've got another tool,
Mm. Yeah.
right? This belief in themselves that they can do it. And they're going to be challenged in those things in that space. And if they're challenged in dance class, well, then I'm giving them that tool of breaking through.
Hmm.
Okay, accepting that challenge. Okay, going the extra mile. So
Hmm.
all of these things can be used to uplift them and see them reach their potential in
Mm.
what they love.
Wow, that's really cool. And I feel like that concept can be applied to anything that people are doing to try to get people to work together too. Like you just help them be bold, be confident in who they are and the interests that they bring. And then it actually just benefits them as individuals when they are in the place that, you know, they're most comfortable with, but it just benefits the entire group as well.
And to have that conversation with the group is really important.
Mm.
So again, I'll say there's probably a percentage, maybe it's 25% of the kids really love what we're doing in dance class.
Yeah.
And then 50% are doing it, right? But it's not their favorite thing.
Okay.
And then maybe another 25%, wow, they just really would rather not be there.
Yeah.
Um, so if that's the case, then we can use some of our dance class time, right, to be in unity together,
Hmm.
to discover more about what we really love,
Okay.
and then to celebrate that.
Hmm.
So for us, again, as Christians, right, we're going to open the class in prayer. We have a technique that our artistic director always implements at the beginning of class, which is what's your blessing?
Mm.
So going around in a circle saying what your blessing is. Okay, that could be, hey, I won my soccer game on Friday. Ah, that's an awesome blessing.
Yeah.
Or I scored more points, than I normally did. Or I had a great time with my friend on the playground. That gets them to all the rest of the kids, maybe again, the ones who are like super like, I love dance class. I can't
Hmm.
wait to be here. Right. Then they're learning something more about their peer and they're going to appreciate that's what's important to my
Yeah.
friend.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I love that whole concept of gratitude being a bridge to people's interests and like creating unity there because a lot of the times, like, especially like in my world, we can get into what we're doing and think about the problems that we need to solve versus like bringing in the good things that are already happening around us and then like starting from a place of like we're all united around the good things that are happening and we're hearing each other's stories and being encouraged by that. So that is really interesting like skill tactic I guess that could be used anywhere, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
Starting with gratitude always changes the environment.
Wow, that's really cool. So I want to talk about the concept of dance in general, outside of just like the Dance for Joy world. Um, I've always struggled with dancing. My mom she loves to dance. She does like salsa, flamenco, not flamenco, bachata,
Hmm.
in the evenings, like
Nice.
in a local studio. And like all of my upbringing, like she was dancing all the time, and it was just like a part of our culture, the Hispanic culture. Um, but I have not, for some reason, just like been able to dance. It's really funny. But I play drums
Oh, that's
and
dancing.
I play, guitar and piano.
Yeah.
But one thing I've noticed is that like a lot of natural dancers are less worried about like the beat and they're more worried about like expressing themselves through
Mhm.
feel. I think there is an element of that in like drumming and in music,
Mhm.
but it's less. I think you start off by making sure that you're on beat, but then as you get good at being on beat, then you can start thinking about feel. But then for me, when I think about dancing, I'm so worried about like doing the steps right or being on beat that like I can't really get to the feel part. And it almost feels like the order in dance is a little bit different.
Mhm.
Like you kind of feel it and learn how to stay on beat about at the same time. Is that accurate?
Mm. I think it really depends on the genre.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I was thinking about something as you were talking and it just flew out of my head. Um, I would say that the experience of learning dance is as vast as anything else.
Mm,
There are so many different approaches, and throughout the different genres, then there are different levels of what's important
okay.
for that genre.
Mm,
So I'll give a few examples. And then the point I actually wanted to make on what you were saying was
mhm.
about practice.
Okay.
So, and so let me go to the genres and give us some examples and then about practice.
Okay.
Because that's the unifier is practice.
Okay.
Um, so if you're a modern dancer, right? Release, swing, suspension, roll, breath. These are the words that are going to be a, a real core of a lot of the work. And there's a vocabulary there,
Okay.
right? If you're a tap dancer, right? Tap dancing is the art of creating music while you dance.
Mm,
So then you're a musician as much as you are as a dancer.
okay. I think I could do
So
that.
then music theory, exactly, exactly. Music theory then, or this elements of learning how to create music, which we know starts with a beat,
Hmm.
is the primary first thing you're going to be doing.
Okay.
But you say that wouldn't necessarily in a modern dance class be a primary first thing.
Okay.
And then in modern dance, it depends on um, what sorry, I'm forgetting the word. What lineage you're learning.
Okay.
So are you doing Lemon technique? Are you doing Graham technique? Are you doing Horton technique?
Mm,
Right? So all of those techniques have different ways of approaching the movement
okay.
and different importances.
Mm,
So in those three modern dance techniques, rhythm is going to be part of it, but how you approach the rhythm might be different.
mm,
In tap dancing, then again, there's going to be different techniques and different ways of approaching it, but a core value of tap dancing, of course, is going to be keeping time.
mm-hmm,
We're drummers
mm-hmm.
while we're moving,
Yeah.
right?
Feet
For
drummers.
for a modern beat dancers, that's right. But for a modern dancer, right, keeping time might not be part of the movement at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question. If you were to put dancers of all different genres in a room, tap dancers, modern dancers, people that care about the beat, people that don't care about the beat. How would you get them to do one dance together? Is that possible, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
What would
Yeah.
be like your approach?
Well, improvisation is always a great way to unify,
Okay.
right? And it goes back to what we were talking about what's important to that person. Let them shine there.
Hmm.
So, one way that you can just take dancers of any type and say, we're going to all improv. You can even give them um, improvisation benchmarks.
Okay.
You could say, okay, we're all going to be on the floor.
Okay. Be really interesting to see.
Okay. Now we're all going to travel in straight lines.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're all going to do turns.
Hmm.
These are ways in which you can unify across genres
Hmm.
by giving an assignment, right?
Okay.
Or a space in which we can all connect in some way.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
an anchor almost.
right. An anchor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When I think about this, I picture like the work that I'm doing with prayer because we have so many different types of Christians that come together to pray in a space. And I think about like the more quiet expressions of prayer and the really loud ones. And then even culturally, there's differences there too. Like there is a type of expression, like let's say that you're Catholic, but you're a Filipino Catholic, the way that you're expressing prayer is different than a Mexican Catholic would, or an American Catholic would, or even charismatic as well. There's like a whole spectrum, like within culture, within different churches. And then I wonder, like, how do you get all people to somehow do the same thing together? And I'm just, trying to pick your brain because I think dance can kind of show us a little bit. And it's actually confirming some things that I was wondering about. Like, I think despite whether or not they're going to do their genres elsewhere, in that moment when they're unified, they do need somewhat of like you called them benchmarks or anchors or um, like some common
Mhm.
objectives in a sense that help kind of glue them together in that moment. Is that accurate?
Yeah. When you were describing that, and I was, going through in my mind, yes, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this,
Hmm.
right? I would say that the place to start in unifying is really enjoying people's differences,
Mm.
to see why they're different, to see why they really are wanting to um, to worship in that way, to pray in that way,
Hmm.
because um, there's something so deep in each of us as human beings that we have remembrances and we have experiences and things that we're drawn to that resonate with our hearts. And to allow people to express themselves in those ways is a great freedom.
Hmm.
And to find how we can respect and understand and see their joy
Mm.
is a great way of unifying.
Mm.
And then I think when we do that, see, we can find the similarities.
Hmm.
Dance for Joy is an all denominational space for worship, right?
Hmm.
All of our teachers come from different churches and different backgrounds of worship.
Hmm.
And we all come from different spaces in which we learned how to dance as well.
Mm.
So our teaching techniques are different. Our ways of worshiping on Sundays are different. And I believe that's why um, it's such a great space for anybody to be able to come because then they can find something that really makes them feel like, oh, that's what I really love,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, and the unity in that helps open us up. I know that my friends who are professional ballet dancers, right? They've helped me to grow in my understanding and my love for ballet. Whereas as a young dancer, that wasn't part of my life at all.
Mm.
And so through continuing to be together and to be very different and unique,
Mm-hmm.
it grows that appreciation.
Mm.
It grows unity. It helps us find the similarities. So for prayer, which you were saying, how are we all going to pray together? Right? It's most likely a balance of allowing people to pray in their own way that they're
Mm-hmm.
used to and really respecting that.
Yeah.
And then having a conversation about the unity that we can find. What in all these different ways, what do we see that's the same?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess we all are thanking God.
Mm-hmm.
That would be across all faiths,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm going to guess we're all in some relationship of love with God. Can't imagine why we'd be in a faith where God wasn't a loving God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then praying from those perspectives could
Mm.
be very unifying.
Yeah. What do you feel like in both the prayer space and in the dance space will keep people in a room or keep the commitment to continue to discover what unity looks like? Like I'm picturing a ballet dancer coming into like what's another genre that's completely different from ballet?
Hip hop.
So yeah, like I'm picturing like a ballet dancer coming into a hip hop room and in their 2 hours of being in the same room, they could either choose to fully opt in and stay in it or just to like leave and never come back to discover what it would look like for them as hip hop dancers and ballet dancers to work together. And similarly in prayer, like I can get people to explore what it would look like to work together, but to commit to the ongoing journey is very different. So what would that look like with dance?
When you ask that question, it makes me think that I don't think anyone does anything without a reason. So without a reason to continue praying with others that are different, I don't think they're going to,
Mm,
I don't think they're going to keep doing it.
mm,
Um, for sure, in the dance world, dance is a social art form. And so a sense of belonging is vital.
mm. Okay.
Prayer can be contemplative and very soloistic,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be corporal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with everyone. I think it's interesting that in the scripture it says, do not neglect the gathering
Mm-hmm.
together, right?
Yeah.
So there's, from a Christian perspective, right?
Mm,
There is a reason why God wants us to get together and worship together and pray together,
mm-hmm.
right? From that faith perspective, that's a very important key piece.
Mm-hmm.
For dancers, I think that the reason why they keep showing up is because they feel appreciated, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel that they have a value that they're bringing and that they're being fed,
Mm,
that they're receiving something that's lifting them up
mm-hmm.
and filling them up. And they want to come back and
Mm,
do that again.
mm,
And they know that they need to be filled up.
mm. And they know that they can find that in this communal, united setting, right?
Yes.
It's really interesting.
And I would think that the same would be true for prayer,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
right?
what makes somebody want to go into a room full of people praying versus just praying on their own? And I think it is that. It's the fact that the way that they pray is appreciated, is seen, is celebrated, and then the way that they show up with needs is well attended to, and the vulnerability is honored and it's met with kindness and even like yeah, like an eagerness to meet that need. So similarly, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like similarly, a dancer needs community, they need to feel like their expression is being appreciated, and they need to feel like when they leave the space that they leave better than they came, right? It's super interesting.
Absolutely. And I know that people have really said, one person specifically, I can just give this as an example, said, you know, after I leave your class, it feels like I've received a big hug,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's we all need that.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I guess I wanted to go back to the idea of practice,
Hmm. Yeah.
because
I think you should help me figure out how to dance because I feel bad every time my wife
uh,
and I are out together and my mom wants to dance. I'm like, "Ugh."
yeah,
Maybe it is practice.
it is. It really, really, really is. But of course, practice takes discipline,
Hmm.
and you have to have the bandwidth. You have to have the capacity for time,
Yeah.
right? So it's very practical that way. And I would say that the same thing is true for prayer and
Hmm.
people coming together to pray. So they have to have the capacity to get there.
Hmm.
They have to have the capacity in their time, right, to carve out that time. And then they have to have the discipline. It's really interesting. My daughter just was talking about this. Um, she was noting that for many people in her generation, right, she's 22, they love God.
Hmm.
They absolutely want to have a relationship with the Lord,
Hmm.
but they don't necessarily have the discipline to show up.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she's saying that that's just something she's noticed.
Yeah.
It's not when people don't show up, it's not that they don't love God or that they don't want to have a relationship, but she finds that there's a lack of discipline.
Hmm. I find that really interesting because I totally agree. I think even in my own personal life, I struggle 100% with discipline in every area of my life. Um,
I think we're just normal,
yeah,
right? I mean,
exactly.
that's just the human being, right?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if there's something about that communal aspect that you mentioned. You mentioned that happens in dance, it happens in believers coming together as well, that actually helps supplement discipline and keep it maintained. And I think I want to get back to dancing, but I'm going to just hit on this real quick. Like, I think that part of the reason why people struggle to have discipline in their Christian lives is because the Christianity that we've been quote unquote sold by culture is very individualistic.
Mm.
So you do your practices, like there's this whole picture of a little coffee in the morning with your Bible and your notebook, right? 30 minutes to an hour. If you're hitting an hour, you are really a good Christian, basically. And then we have this communal expression
Hmm.
of church. But even within that communal expression, what we're really doing is we're following along to what someone else is leading us to do,
Yep.
which I think there's totally room for that as well.
Totally. Yeah.
Like even in ancient Judaism and Christianity, people would go into a synagogue and they would sit and listen
Mm.
to scriptures being read. But primarily, their entire outworking of their faith was communal. So then we wonder, why is it so hard for people to stay disciplined in their Christian faith? Well, it's because everything that we do, we're doing alone. Even when we're in a group, we're kind of alone, like we're having our own individual experience in a room full of people, basically.
Mm.
But what it seems like is that dance is the complete opposite. Like, even if you're practicing alone, you won't really know whether or not it's good until you show up to a room full of other dancers and they tell you whether or not it's good. So there's like a need for community. And then obviously, like, most of what I've seen are people that dance with a pair, like with another person or with a group of people. So there's like this communal worldview already like embedded into dancing, right?
Hmm.
Do you feel like that's a part of like the struggle with, people following a faith versus like something that we're actually supposed to be learning from dance?
That's interesting. Well, what's interesting about dance is every culture has always danced, right? So we're made to move. Dance is a celebration of life.
Mm,
It has always been that way. It's how we are wired. We are wired to celebrate what is beautiful, and we are wired to lament and
mm,
be in sorrow. And dances have always been created by cultures to celebrate, to lament, to prepare for something, to tell stories, to pass down stories of the culture through movement.
mm,
And so when you were talking a little bit more about belonging and connection, um, and you were talking about kind of this way that's advertised about how you're going to be a Christian.
mhm,
I think it goes back to what we started with, which was authenticity, and being an integrous. If we listen to our heart and we're vulnerable to be real, we're going to find that we need each other.
mhm,
And the dancer needs the dance class to learn, to grow, to be challenged, to be uplifted, to express, and to celebrate and to share.
mhm,
And it's the same with prayer.
mhm,
We need to do all those things also through prayer together.
mhm.
And probably we've lost some of our humanity in that.
Totally. And the tools around us are enabling us to be more individual as well. Like, um, travel is a huge part of it. Like, you can go to the place where you feel most comfortable instead of being seen in your neighborhood and having relationships with the people right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're creating like these in a way unintentionally like self-protective bubbles of environments that are not going to challenge us, like quote unquote, like to dance or to move or to pray, you know. Um, but what's super interesting about dancing is that because it is meant to tell a story or to express something about our humanity, it doesn't fully work without another person witnessing it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way to escape, like to do it alone. You know, I mean, I think you can express yourself alone too, and that's a part of it. But I would assume that most dancers, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, feel unfulfilled if they haven't shared the dance.
It's
Yeah.
very true. There's definitely people who enjoy just dancing on their own,
Yeah.
right? Uh, and that's a comfort for them. And that's where they feel a space of, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be more challenging for anybody to see them. Um, but most of the time, right, dance is something that's to be communal and to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah, I always love thinking about that because I think with those concepts, like it goes back to what you said about humanity. Like humanity found ways to express themselves, to pass something on to different generations and different people. Um, and the way that we as individuals are maybe living now is more separated from the need to share or to give or to express to somebody else, you know? So I'm wondering what you would say, like, what's the key to helping people have that same worldview of dancing in every other part of their life, where they realize what they have to give, what they're wanting to express is going to affect the other person that's coming alongside me?
Mm. Well, it's going to take courage.
Hmm.
Uh, and courage, right, defined is being afraid and still moving forward. So, back to again, the honest assessment, integrous, is that it's very real that we're going to be afraid. We all feel afraid every day. And to be aware of that and to still move forward is um, is going to be a major element
Mm.
of connection and willingness, as we say, to get out of your comfort zone. I think we talked about that a little bit in the beginning, which was I'm going to be a little bold here. We're dying slow deaths continuously when we're afraid, but we don't move forward. We're letting the fear win.
Mm.
And a scripture, right? That again, as a person who's a follower of Christ would look to would be that perfect love casts out fear. So that goes back to love, and love being a sacrifice and a choice, right? And so this idea of belonging, showing up, staying in the dance means that we have to be real about pushing forward through those fears and allowing love, which will bring joy into our hearts. And I think that that's it really is a belief. It's really faith.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have faith
Mm-hmm.
to keep moving forward, um, and to keep showing up.
Mm.
And hopefully that's the dance that we're all dancing every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that we're going to commit to continuing to show up.
Yeah.
Show up for each other, show up understanding that there's going to be challenges, showing up knowing that we're going to be afraid, and still showing up.
Mm.
Again, that goes back to discipline and examples. I think we need examples. We need to be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe we want to, let's talk about inspiration. Without inspiration and something to look forward to, why would we keep going?
Yeah.
So, uh, without a vision, the people perish.
Mm-hmm.
So, dance, art can absolutely give vision
Mm.
for things that are not yet there.
Wow. That's cool.
And that's really why we're doing something like Awaken,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? I know we haven't talked about that yet,
Yeah, talk about it. That's a perfect way to,
but
yeah, approach that.
inspiration, which in the word itself, the etymology of the word means the breath of God,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but we can use it any way we want, whether we're a believer or someone who doesn't believe in God. The word inspiration means breath, right? We're alive. And art, I believe we all agree as humanity, is a place in which we're inspired by the expression of whatever that art is about.
Mm-hmm.
And that inspiration, that breath is enlivening us. And thus, we're having this event, Awaken, on June 13th, Trellis, Dance for Joy, and we're inviting the entire Orange County community,
Mm-hmm.
right, to come and experience art that reflects what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects the idea of who we are as people living together. How do we act towards our neighbor? How do we pray together? How do we gather together to be in spaces of education where we're learning?
Mm-hmm.
How do we gather together in business and our life as people who have beautiful skills and we're doing great work? How do we make our communities even better
Mm-hmm.
by doing it together
Yeah.
and using art as a vision space for that?
Mm-hmm.
We're creating these dances to give vision, to open up eyes, to open up hearts, to help us understand more how we can be better together.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I feel like that's a huge missing piece with trying to get anyone to work together. That whole concept of being inspired toward what could be. And I think that's what inspires me even to like think about ever wanting to dance, even though I don't know if I have the margin or the bandwidth to actually practice, but it does feel inspiring to think about myself dancing the way that my mom does. And when I picture like an entire city working together, or even like a team working together, or a family working better together, um, I wonder if what's going to help them have the fuel for the discipline of unity is the inspiration. Like, look what that city's doing. They completely ended homelessness or sex trafficking,
Mm.
or every single student has a free meal because the people of the community came around. Like those stories that inspire, like those help keep people in the game way more than you have to do this, or like you didn't show up. So now because of that, like it's not going to work. Like, I mean, to some extent, I think there is like an element of, nudging people and stirring people on a little bit, but inspiration, I think, is absolutely necessary. So I was going to say that's what I love about the whole idea of the Awaken event, because you are using that ancient practice of moving your body to inspire people toward what could be if an entire city moved together, which
Yep.
is a really crazy, beautiful concept to think about.
Yeah.
So let's just review the details on that really quick before we move forward. Um, June 13th,
Yep.
Awaken. It's going to be a creative worship expression
Yep.
event,
Yep.
around dance, around worship music, and just around that whole concept of thinking about what if a city worked together. And they're going to be telling stories through dance. Share a little bit more about the details on that.
Yeah. Well, and we're inviting everybody to come and be part of the worship. So you can go to the website, you can find actual movement that will be expressed that day with the live worship. And so you can stand up and worship with us. That will be for some of the time. Other things will be storytelling, right? Through film, through dance, through art. We're looking for more artists who would like to come and join us. So on the website, you can see again that there's an opportunity for artists to sign up. And that would be for any arts.
Cool.
This is a creative arts event, right? And then it's completely free, right? So the location is Calvary Church Santa Ana, which is on Tustin Avenue in Santa Ana. It's a great big church. And all are welcome. Great for families because it's going to be upbeat and fun, and also an opportunity to reflect
Mm.
and then be with a lot of other people in all the cities of Orange County. Our goal is to have all 34 cities there represented and help people to see how they can connect,
Mhm.
how they can consider, oh, I live in Lake Forest
Mhm.
and there's a table over there, and those people are from Lake Forest and they're serving, and I can get connected over there
Yeah.
or through one of the stories that's told, or,
Mhm.
through some of the ways that we're just going to help people to see, ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. And what time does it start?
Doors open at 3:30
Okay.
and the event actually begins at 4.
Okay.
But you can show up as early as 2:30 and hang out in the courtyard with all the different, again, people who are there representing the cities, representing nonprofits, businesses, organizations that are committed to collaboration and
Yeah,
working together because they believe we're better together.
that's really beautiful. I would love to keep talking about dance, but I know it is getting a little bit later.
Yep.
Before we leave, I would love to hear just three simple principles. They can be what we talked about already, about how we can learn about unity through dance.
Hmm. Show up, encourage, practice.
That's really good. Yeah, those are very true and tested and tried. Absolutely. Because I think if you don't show up, no one's ever going to learn to work with you. You're never going to learn to work with other people. If you don't, what was the second one?
Encourage.
Yeah, if you don't encourage, people aren't going to want to stay. They're not going to feel like they belong. And then if you don't practice, you're never going to get better at working together.
Yeah.
So, really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Christy. Anything else you want to say before we close
No,
out?
this was super fun. I hope to see everybody at Awaken and out in the community serving, whether it's through Trellis, through your Love Your Cities, um, through dance class, right?
Yeah. And if you're in Orange County, make sure that you visit the Dance for Joy website. You can find out all the information about the event there, and you can also find out about the classes and what they're doing in the community beyond just the spaces that they're in. And then also, if you'd like to learn more about the podcast Better Together, we're actually run by an amazing organization called We Are Trellis, called Trellis. But the whole idea of We Are Trellis, which is our website, is that we are together the organization. It's not just like the people working in the office, but it's really made up of normal people like the two of us.
Completely normal people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe not me. I'm not super normal, but doing things in the community to help people unite and connect. So yeah, if you want to learn more about it, go to wearetrellis.com, look us up, and find us on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, under the Better Together podcast handle or under the We Are Trellis handle. And then Dance for Joy has social media as well. So make sure that you look for them. But hopefully, we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much for listening.
And I did want to say, if I can,
Yeah. Go
that the
ahead.
Dance for Joy is always with the number 4. So it's
Oh, okay.
DANCE, the number 4, JOI.org is our website.
Okay,
Yeah. And
perfect.
then you can click on the Awaken OC tab and that'll tell you all about the event.
Good. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you
Bye.
guys soon.